Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I am back with another Blue Post update. It's been a while, but finally we've got some more information and it's something that we've been waiting on for quite a while. So first of all, big thank you to Pogren in my Discord. Join my Discord in the link below. He gave me the link to this. He was hot off the presses as usual with the US forum post updates. I don't have a US forum account, so it's great that you can help me out with that, my dude. So let's jump into this, get into the details of it. So Itemization in WoW Classic by Kyvax. He says, it's been a lot of fun over the last couple of months to dive into the development of WoW Classic with the team while trying to answer some of the many questions that have been posed here and elsewhere. Looking at the plans for a phased content release, unlocking dungeons and raids, and unlocking other systems, it's clear that the aim is to create a progression experience that resembles the original arc from when WoW first launched. In thinking about what belongs in each of those phases, the team's focus has always been on rewards. Developers have scoured through vendor lists and treasure tables for items that were added in patches, and then attached them to the staged content unlock plan. This means that if a new item was originally added to a dungeon boss's loot table within Anchorage, you shouldn't expect it to appear in WoW Classic until Phase 5, which is the phase that contains Anchorage content. That makes perfect sense. I think everyone's comfortable with that. Along the way, we've seen many questions asking if we're also retracing the steps of incremental changes to individual items and their stats that may have occurred throughout the original World of Warcraft. Such a plan could be called progressive itemization, and I know this is something that's been talked about a lot in the community, with varying strength of opinion on the matter. I know some people are very, very strongly in favor of progressive itemization, but they say they're not going to do it, but I don't want to spoil you too much. So here's an example of progressive itemization. The tier 2 warrior Helm of Wrath originally had spirit and agility on it, as well as critical strike chance. In patch 1.5.0, the Helm's stat budget was changed to stamina, strength, and defense, along with some elemental resistances. Then in patch 1.7, the amount of defense on the Helm was reduced. In 1.8, the 5-piece set bonus that included the Helm was fixed to work with Whirlwind, and in 1.9, it got a better look with an art update. WoW Classic will only include that last version of the item as it existed in our reference version 1.12. Of course, this raises the question of why, which I'm sure is being screamed in many a forum and many a Reddit post right now, but why differentiate between adding new items along the way and making modifications to existing items? So when new items are added to loot tables, you're generally seeing a deliberate effort to provide catch-up gear and or to provide new goals for players who had exhausted an existing reward structure. So, for example, in original WoW, items were added to give players a way to quickly prepare for Anchorage without having to spend months in Molten Core and Blackwing Lair. That makes sense, and progression catch-up items have always been a part of WoW, even like they say here, from back in the day. So the changing of existing items in patches often illustrated that the original design team was responding to how players played the game, because they didn't really know how we would do it. So the primary goal at the time was to make the rewards more relevant and exciting. So developers realized that Spirit wasn't really an ideal stat for a warrior raid helm. The asterisk, I think from memory, the bottom, he's saying, sorry for crushing the dreams of a troll, infinite spirit regen health stuff. He's just memeing there. Don't worry about that asterisk. And he said that's an example of this sort of change. So many class abilities and talents evolved similarly. So, for example, going into patch 1.8, the game designers determined that Moonkin Form would be a more compelling 31-point balanced druid talent than the original selection of Hurricane. True, Moonkin Form would be even more compelling if it worked properly, if it was actually a viable spec in raiding. I wouldn't mind them giving them a little bit of help on the mana side of things, but no changes. I understand the benefits of that. I might do a video on that in the near future of why that's so important. But anyway, it's important to remember that there's more to WoW Classic than a long series of changes. Even if each item change could be made, and even if every class change could be progressively recreated, that would still only constitute a piece of the overall landscape of original WoW. We remember how early raid progression was punctuated by unexpected roadblocks and workarounds, so as far as they know, every one of the first Ragnaros kills was only possible due to a bug that made Lava Burst temporarily stop firing after a wipe, and Chromagus was practically undefeatable due to Ignite Flesh unavoidably and lethally stacking on tanks until it was discovered that Flamegore's ramp in the laboratory allowed the entire raid to damage Chromagus without being exposed to his breath attacks, which is serious cheesing. And Cthulhu was infamously seen as unkillable until a hotfix in April 2006 prevented additional tentacles from spawning while it was vulnerable. Interesting they say is he was infamously seen as unkillable, because I always heard that described as he was mathematically unkillable, but maybe Blizzard's saying, maybe you guys are just bad at the game. I don't know. Their wording there suggests that they actually don't think he was completely unkillable. So recreating and then refixing every major progression affecting bug wouldn't account for what we think matters much more, the people playing the game. There are many unknowns in original WoW, and the first guilds to reach Nefarian spent their initial pulls testing different ideas they had and trying to figure out what condition would get them past the first part of the fight, defeating the 40 Draconids. That experience can't be recreated because the knowledge can't be unlearned. For a long time after patch 1.4 came out, many players simply had no idea how good Obsidian Edged Blade or aged core leather gloves were. The power of weapon skill will be no surprise in WoW Classic. So rather than try to recreate a specific experience from 2005 that can never fully be recaptured, our aim has been to accurately and fully restore the original game's mechanics and stats to their final and most polished state from before the Burning Crusade. Sorry if you can hear pans crashing in the background. I did tell my girlfriend that I'm recording a video now, but I don't think she realizes that the pans can be heard. My apologies. That mission has been a pillar for WoW Classic's design from its inception. So this means that while content will be unlocked progressively to allow for each raid tier to shine, systems such as class design, battleground mechanics, and stats on existing items will all be set to the final 1.12 conditions. That should take the pressure off players to be constantly figuring out what we might do next to remain exactly in line with how the game once played out, and we can all focus a little more on community building and enjoying the experience together. Now, I actually think this is a pretty well thought out post, and it clearly shows that they have been doing a lot of internal discussions and arguments back and forth on this topic, and they've decided that this is where they're going to go. Not going to do progressive itemization, but they are going to be doing, you know, all of the rest of the stuff we've covered in previous videos, where they're going to be releasing like they say here, the anchorage thing. They're doing that, but they're not doing the progressive itemization, and that means casters, I suppose, might be a bit stronger at launch. I'm by no means an expert on this sort of thing, guys, but from what I understand, casters will benefit from this a lot, which, to be honest, might not be a bad thing in terms of our enjoyment of the game, let's be honest. I don't know if I want to play a gimped caster so much. I'm sure many of you won't as well. This also does give a lot more motivation to the live to win guys. You know, the guys are going to be just absolutely grinding the honor and getting that rank 14 as soon as they can, because I imagine this progressive itemization that they're talking about here that they're not going to do means that the PvP rewards are going to be super strong, at least for that initial period before similarly powerful raid gear comes out. But anyway, I suppose I don't have much more to talk about here. I just wanted to let you guys know about this post. And here's you guys. So much for some trolls' dreams of limitless regeneration. Yeah, Kivak's memeing on everyone. I imagine it's a shit show in these comments, but to be honest, people are just saying thanks for clearing that up. Thanks for the update. Obviously, people on the official forums are generally quite positive compared to some other places we all know about. But this seems actually not too bad. People don't seem particularly upset about it. I don't care myself, really, because, to be honest, I am not enough of a itemization geek. I'm not I'm not actually very good at the game enough to actually understand all the ramifications of this. I love the lore. I love the music. You guys know how I am. And in fact, on my stream, I'm going to be learning how to play the game. So come and join me in that experience of actually trying to get good for once. Also, please follow me on Twitch. Live streaming links are in the description below. I'm going to start moving my streaming over from YouTube to Twitch over time, because I don't want to spam my YouTube channel with loads and loads of Twitch VODs, because from June I will be unemployed and streaming full-time here. Probably retail unless Classic's out already, but we'll obviously have to wait for a release date. Anything can happen. I have a suspicion it's probably not going to be August until we get Classic, but I've heard talk that they might just launch it on us in June or July, sort of, you know, Apex Legends style, out of nowhere. Anyway, looking forward to hearing what you think about this, guys. But please subscribe, follow me and all of that sort of thing. Join the Discord server, and if you like the music of World of Warcraft, please go and watch my Scorecraft series. Hopefully it'll speak for itself. Hope you enjoy it, and stay tuned, everyone. See you in the next video. Bye bye.